Well, they put quite a price tag on him. And while, I admit up front that the money involved in the game today makes little sense to me. But to be talking about 100 million plus for a defensive midfielder just seems a little absurd, but I'm old school. But at the same time, as much plaudits I've put on Bruno Guimaraes and his impact at Newcastle, I have to do the same with Declan Rice. We are talking about two defensive midfielders here who epitomize what the clubs are about, their styles, how Declan Rice has written himself into the history books with West Ham, and the fans have responded. He is vitally important as an anchor for West Ham in that midfield. He's vitally important in terms of the club's identity and personality. Mark Noble stepping away from the game, and Declan Rice, I think, is the natural heir in so many ways to all that Mark has represented to West Ham. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. The football that West Ham play, again, knowing the traditions around West Ham, what the fans expect. There's a different level of expectation from the West Ham fans than Newcastle at the time or even Newcastle now. But both sets of fans want to see the game played in a certain way. I think West Ham fans are more accepting of poor results if the game is played in the Ron Greenwood style, as they often reference. But then to see West Ham perform in the way that they have over the last couple of seasons, as tough as it's been to see them trail off in the back end of the season, I think it's symptomatic of where the club are, in that they just can't compete in terms of what it needs from a squad, and how deep your squad needs to be to compete in the different cups and Europa League, as we saw this season. To see West Ham get all the way to a Europa League semi-final, and just knowing what that meant to the fans was simply outstanding. We competed in Europe back in my day. We qualified through the Intertoto Cup, but the feeling then was nowhere like what it was this time around. And it certainly was. It was an electric atmosphere, and great to see. It felt a little bit flat in the end, in the way that they went out to the semi-final stage to come that close against Eintracht Frankfurt, but for just not to happen. But it just speaks volumes as to the direction that the club are going under David Moyes. Yeah, well, it's a different test now, because I think they're in Europa Conference League, if I'm not wrong in saying. So it'll be a different test. But again, the challenge for West Ham is competing on those multiple fronts and how the squad copes. That's a really big challenge for West Ham. At its best, West Ham have shown that they can match the big boys in the Premier League. They can match the big boys in Europe, at the very least Europa League. But the challenge will always be doing that on both fronts. So we'll see what kind of transfer window, what kind of summer West Ham have, how they're able to add to depth. You also need a huge slice of luck in terms of avoiding injuries and suspensions. But without question, David Moyes has this team playing football the way the fans would like to see it played. That the fans have responded in kind, and they've got the makings of a squad that, as I mentioned, can compete. So fingers crossed that Lady Luck is kind to West Ham, and we see another season that gives us a lot to cheer about.